Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Member of the Pod Bros Podcast Network. Don't forget to go to podbros.com. Find yourself another podcast you might want to listen to. And don't forget to go to our sponsors, Tape Armor, as well as Trap and Roll Soap Company, and visit our webpage, bigjujitsu.com. I'm Rob the Lord Humongous.
And I'm Shawn the Duke Humongous.
Man, it's been a while since we've been on the show together, dude. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks here, and we've got a lot to talk about now, right? So.
Yeah. Like a whole boatload, actually. So how have you been doing?
I've been doing real good. Did some pretty heavy judo yesterday, so I'm feeling a little sore from that. I mean, the thing about judo versus jiu-jitsu is you can get really sore doing judo if you're getting tossed around and grip fighting. And I mean, both of us are cracking fingers and feet and all that stuff, but you got to do it. You got to work on your stand-up.
You have to. Absolutely. Like, that's something I worked on Friday night. It was just me and some other guys showed up to class, and he's a judo guy too, so we just did standing all night. So, like, for a good 45 minutes, 50 minutes, we just did stand-up sparring the whole time.
Yeah, we were at it like an hour, and I was just, out of breath a few times. But it's been a while since I did that. But it beats pulling guard. And you really got to find somebody you trust that you can go hard with, so you are prepared. That's your weight when you go to a tournament. I've definitely learned that from my experiences at Blue Belt and IBJJF events, where I definitely wasn't prepared for the stand-up that other guys are bringing in the gi.
Yeah, so you're all settled, ready to go, because you're working people with your size, and well, now I'm sure it makes a big difference as you've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Practicing that judo. So I do miss it out there, man. I do miss training with you guys a lot, but it seems to be like classes are picking up out here as well.
Well, that's good. I mean, you move where you move. I may be moving soon here too. I mean, who knows what'll happen, but you just gotta you gotta keep on your journey and remember all the people that you trained with and what you picked up from them. So I mean, like from you, I mean, I still remember how flexible you were when I was a white belt, and you were pretty experienced blue belt, being like, well, I can be big and flexible. And that showed me something, because other places I had trained were like, no, that's not a big guy game. And for you, man, you're one of the better guard players I've ever rolled against at your size, if not the best. So I mean, it just like I said, you pick up something from everybody, and a lot of judo stuff I got from Adam Boyd, who moved, and you just got to pick it up, keep it, and find somebody new to learn from.
Yeah, and that's if you come with an open mind, it's easy to do. And a lot of people will not approach it with an open mind. I mean, a conversation we had on the way back. So I'll preface this by saying that my friend Steve Brown, had his first pro MMA fight last night. Didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to. He caught a knee in the armpit, which dislocated his shoulder. So the dude wound up, threw a knee, caught him in the armpit, and you just see his arm just flop to his side. And
yeah, I read that on Facebook. That's actually probably one of the most painful injuries I've ever had. A dislocated shoulder, at least the first time I ever did it.
Yeah, and this is the first time for him too. And I gotta give him credit, because he just kind of looked at me and Iden, who were in his corner, he goes, "I think my shoulder's done." Just as plain as day as that. Like,
probably some adrenaline there.
Just a little.
The first time I did it was on a softball field, and I was in agonizing pain, man. Somebody take me to the fucking hospital.
Yeah, because he just rolls over and looks at us. I'm like, "Dude, you all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I think my shoulder's done." I'm like, gave him this look of like, "Holy shit, are you serious?" Like, but then we went back and looked at it. Yeah, it was a hard hit, real hard hit. It was like one of those 1 in a million shots. But we had like a 5-hour car ride back, so we had a lot of shit to talk about. And one of them was talking about, a lot of people have a hard time learning from others, especially if they're experienced in a different martial art, where they don't want to put the white belt back on, and it makes it difficult for them to pick up different techniques, different ideas from other people, regardless of what their experience is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you approach Like, you run a class, whatever. You're a very seasoned blue belt, and some white belt comes up and he's like, "Hey, let me show you how to do a takedown." You're like, "Dude, look, you're a white belt. I get your enthusiasm. Let me worry about the takedowns." But he turns out to be like, an Olympic style, an Olympic
Yeah,
level
yeah,
wrestler. It just,
absolutely.
yeah, not everybody wants to do that, and I think that's kind of shitty, actually.
No, and so I had a similar conversation with Chris yesterday, who's a judo black belt, and he should be a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm sure he'll get promoted at our next, school ceremony.
Yeah,
But he's the same way. We practiced for an hour stand up, like I said, and then I showed him those two moves that I really took away from the Kurt Osiander seminar that we
yeah,
went to, and he was like, "Holy crap, I'm using this," and just even a couple things that I picked up, like from the spider and lasso guard, where the little things about, like, remember, I don't know if you remember, but he was talking about gluing the outside of your forearm to the inside of your thigh,
yeah.
like that little detail on the lasso makes a huge fucking bit of difference,
It
even if
does.
you are experienced. Like, I've been training and nobody told me that, and like that made a huge difference in my control for spider and for lasso, like those details. So I mean, he's always open minded, and he's been doing judo black belt for over 10 years. So I was saying that there was a guy that just had come in who's a white belt, that was like a collegiate wrestler. He's a border patrol agent. Really, really good guy. And I said, "Hey, that dude over there, you should roll with him." He surprised me the last time, because I was gonna just take it easy on him,
Yeah,
and he ended up, taking my back pretty quick, and like I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta try," and that's good. That's good for me. Like when somebody surprises me, or there's a white belt and that's good, or does something that I don't expect. Not the spazzy white belt that's kicking me in the face and giving me a black eye. But the guy that surprises you, that has something that you haven't seen. I mean, I love that, because I take something away from that person.
yeah. Everybody, and you can't go into a gym, and if you're just beating the shit out of everybody, then it might be time to look at another gym, or you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. Like even rolling with white belts, you have to do something to give them some degree of like a chance against you, kind of, but it gives you something to work on. Like I'll pull side control. Like I'll just lay flat on my back and let some of these white belts take side control on me, because
Hmm.
it's a weak position for me. It'll always be a weak position for me, just because I know I hate being in side control. So let them do that, and I start to work stuff, but it gives them a chance to, like, let's face it, brand new, like 3-month white belt versus me, like, come on, pass my guard. I'm gonna try as hard as I can. It ain't gonna happen. They might do something, it might catch me, and that's cool with me. But why don't we forego the guard passing stuff, get you in a dominant position, put me in a not good position, and then we both can work from there.
Right, and that's good for them because they're learning to finish when they end up, either doing a tournament or are in the street. Because I was thinking also, just and you know me, Rob, how I just have to think
Oh,
sometimes.
absolutely. That's
And
fine.
I was in one of those situations. Is why am I doing this? And I continue to think that in my journey. Why do I continue to go? I can, do very good against most of the people at our gym. I've been training a good amount of my adult life in some form of MMA. So what is my end game at this point? I'm gonna get a purple belt eventually.
Yeah.
I hope to be a black belt someday, but I'm just saying, short term versus long term goals. But why am I sacrificing injuries and my time and all this stuff? Part of that is what we're talking about, passing knowledge on to others. But the other is the off chance that you do need to use it. And
Yes.
um, you need to be able to, like you were saying, if you're a white belt, finish, defend yourself, like those things that why we are here, the basics of why we are here. That, hey, I'm a big guy, but I truly realize, I mean, there's a new guy that has been coming to the gym that's 260 that fucking throws me like a rag doll, and I was that guy at one time, but I can't do that anymore. I got to wait for this guy to get tired, defend myself and then make a move. So I mean, that is where my mindset has been recently, of thinking, yeah, yeah, it's fun, like all this stuff, beer and boloing people, getting your advanced techniques down, because that keeps us going too, right? Is,
Yeah.
you know, pulling a beer and bolo on a higher belt, or, but like the actual practice is why I'm there. So I'm not rusty if I'm somewhere and something goes down, or, because of course we're going to talk our way down first, but you may need to use jujitsu someday. And I have I don't go to the bar often. I had to use it one time. And, I was able to choke somebody out and save my friend from further injury after he was getting beat up. So, I mean, that's why we train, right? I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's martial arts. It's the most like rawest form of combat. And the thing is, the difference between like, just kind of unorganized combat and what we do is that there's a method on how we want to finish it. It's people have learned, or people have figured out the most effective way to finish a fight in this certain style. And it's our job to use it and impose it on somebody if we ever have to. No matter what I say, and like my students will tell you that I even said this is probably going to be the most painful thing I'm ever going to tell you, but in order to defend against people who jump guard, we're going to have to jump guard on people. Because that's not a realistic self-defense type thing to do. And I feel the same, like it translates over to tournaments. I mean, I've said this before. My tournament game should be able to keep me safe in a self-defense situation as well. Because it's not me.
And I've never seen you on the bottom in a tournament situation, and all you do is practice guard and bottom, at least before you left here, like it. And I'm the same way, like I've really been working hard on my guard.
Yeah. Well, to me, when I look at jiu-jitsu, I think I was even saying this today too on the car ride. The guard to me is the most like amazing thing in jiu-jitsu to me. The reason being is because it is what is perceived to be a weak position, but if you can regain guard, you have an even better chance of keeping yourself safe.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the coolest part of jiu-jitsu to me is the guard. But I'm also lazy. If I'm on top, that's even easier because now I don't have to worry about sweeping people or whatnot. The guard to me is I want my guard to be good enough that if something were to happen and I'm on my back, then I feel great. I'm like, this is familiar territory to me. I can fight off my back. I have no problems here, regardless if it's a tournament, an MMA fight, or some dude's just trying to beat my ass in front of the Starbucks.
Yeah, and the last few weeks, you know what I've been doing? I've been going to close guard, because close guard is something when you're like a little more advanced that at least we don't do at our school that often. And it's so effective, man. Just holding somebody and letting them tire out. And like I was saying about that 260-pound big guy, close guard, man. Close guard, because let them tire out and hit an arm bar, hit a choke, whatever you can get. But that is such a good spot to tire people out. And when you were preparing for your tournament and I was in your close guard, throwing punches at you at, pretty close to full speed. I mean, you can see, you're going to take a couple hits, but you're going to tire the other guy out, and you're going to, be able to continue.
Yeah. And no matter what, like I train guard, except what you just said. I still took a couple shots from guard. I mean, granted, it wasn't close guard, but it was a weird variation of half weird X guard. I have no idea, but he still punched me in the face. Was I able to take some of the power off of it because I had control? Yes, but it's nothing fun. Like, it's still a fight. People are still going to try to hurt you. Now imagine that in self-defense. So now you're somewhere with your head maybe on pavement or concrete. There's no mat underneath you. It's going to stop your head from bouncing off the ground and feel like, oh, that's okay. You have...
Yeah, did you happen to see that video I posted? I think it sounded like it was in Brazil, from the language of the guy playing guard on the street against that guy.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was a lot bigger. I hadn't seen that one before, so I think it was recent.
Fairly recent.
And yeah, he triangle choked that guy? Yeah. And in a street fight, he was, took a few blows and put that guy to sleep.
Yeah, and it's funny is of course, as soon as somebody's starting to get choked or armbarred or something, everybody jumps in And then when he's out of danger, it's like, okay, I'll just let him keep going. And then, like, the guy on the basketball court had him, like, in a heel hook position. Everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, calm down real quick. And then let's go. And then the dude, they're like, okay, yeah, keep going. Gets him like an armor. Whoa, hey, crazy.
Yeah.
Don't be crazy. Like, oh, he's just going to try to push my face
Yeah.
in through the back of my head. I mean, that's no different than me breaking his arm, honestly.
Exactly.
But it should all translate together. It really should. And if you pull a worm guard or whatever in the street and somebody runs up and tries to go for the 3-point field goal kick, that's on you, man. You really should have thought of that. But speaking of sports stuff, so did you see Halleck Gracie posted something for Metamoris again? Or Metamoris.
Oh boy.
It is it's a clusterfuck, man, as usual. I will actually pull up the actual transcript of what went down. But pretty much Metamoris is going to be doing their Metamoris Challenger thing again. You remember that where they're like
when we fell asleep at your house?
Yeah, that one, kind of. Except now that it's what is it? They're going to have like all the multiple tournaments to have people come over and figure out who's going to be in this, like the Metamoris Challenger. So they're going to do like the cities and then regions and then whatever. But what happened last year was not everybody got to do it because people started they started canceling tournaments that they wanted to, they never finished it is pretty much what happened. So there's a lot of pissed off people because, they paid for these tournaments, they canceled the tournaments, and they didn't get refunds for it. So I'm going to pull up.
Sounds par for the course for Metamoris.
Just about, right? So I'm going to pull up what was it? Some of the banter on one of these things that Halleck was like, Halleck actually responded to. And it was actually pretty interesting. If they still have it up here. So I'm searching for it right now. But pretty much, like, he's just digging his own grave again, man. He just wants to run his fucking mouth and just fuck it up even more.
Yeah, I mean, that's becoming that Metamoris. Like, it was initially great. Remember how excited we were? And now it's just like, to me, it's like the UFC. Like, I really don't even care. Yep. Like, I'll watch the highlight when it's done and whatever, Like, I don't even care to read what you're talking about now. I'm just like, Metamoris,
Well, it was interesting to me because, the whole, like, Halleck and Metamoris didn't pay their fighters and stuff. And now they had the whole issue with the tournament or people not being able to compete or get refunds for their tournaments. So Nathan Halford said, this was under, like, the announcement. He said, so with the money you guys are taking in from the entry fees, are you going to pay all the staff, venues, and champions from previous years? So apparently what happened was also the people working these events didn't get paid. So,
man.
Yeah. Here's Halleck's response. He says, hey, buddy, we don't exist to pay debts. We exist to make a difference for jiu-jitsu and the people who care about jiu-jitsu. We have adjusted our business model to account for not only past mistakes, but future opportunities. Again, because we care. Thank you. We don't exist to pay debts. So this is like, to me, that sounds like a cop-out saying like, we're doing this because we're going to give back to the community. And everybody should be thankful.
Are they that fucking broke that they don't like have the money? I've seen that the dude that's on the reviews, I've seen his house. You know what I'm talking about? The guy in Escondido, California.
Are you talking about Halleck's house?
No. The other Gracie brother that does like the Gracie breakdown.
Oh, Henner Gracie?
Yeah, I've seen his pictures of him in his house. Borrow some money from Henner.
Yeah. Like that's what some people are saying. Like, why don't you just dip into the fucking Gracie University account and pay for some of it? So like later on, he says more. Some people are calling him out. Like this is a good one. We don't. Somebody quoted, "Who do you think you are? The arrogance of that statement is astounding. Anyone that supports you is a fool." And then somebody posted this up. This is hilarious. Halleck Gracie says Dream still hasn't paid him for his fight in May. I feel they've had 2 shows or 3 shows since my fight. I don't understand how they're still doing shows and they're just signing fighters up and fighters aren't getting paid. So to me, it's not the right way to do business and it's not the right way to treat people. This is what Halleck Gracie said after he fought in Dream. And this was back in 2010. And this is before like all the Metamoris shit went down. So Halleck Gracie was complaining about a show not paying him, but yet turns around and does the same shit.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's hilarious. But to me, it's just...
Maybe they only pay the guys that are Gracie jiu-jitsu fighters, not just Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners.
Yeah. See, here's the other thing. Here's Halleck's other response. I underestimated how much people want to take me out of context still. To be clear, paying debts from revenue earned is what businesses do to stay afloat. My response to Nathan, because he sounded like a troll, was based on the assumption that he knew our intentions were to cover anyone and everyone. And my response was an attempt to give him some context as to our efforts towards growth in avoiding such issues, which I felt was the deeper issue at hand. No business has any chance of moving forward without applying the fullest efforts to pay what is owed. About the link above, Dream gave up. They never stayed in contact with me and they filed bankruptcy. They still owe me $60K, but I wouldn't take back the experience for anything. Now I have more compassion for them. They tried to build the Japanese audience and they took risks. They failed and future promotions will learn from them. I know the pain of not getting paid and I ended up paying people way too much to compensate for my emotions. That backfired. We are pushing forward because that's the most respectful thing to do. If you owe anyone money, I should get back to it, but I appreciate all of your passion. Like he said, he's owed $60K, but he would not trade back the experience for anything. Like that's cool and all. That you got to fight and dream. What's shitty is now you're out $60,000 you were promised.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys aren't going to be like, they have to eat. Like some of these guys got to eat.
Yeah.
They're just pro fighters. That's all they do is they fucking fight. Or they fucking do jiu-jitsu. That's it. And if there's no way to pay them, then like, I don't know, you can't eat experience. You can't clothe yourself in experience. As fucking cool as that is, but
it also doesn't pay for doctor bills.
No, absolutely not. Hey doc, I got some experience. He's like, great, I do too.
Yeah, I'm a badass jiu-jitsu guy, but
that's great.
I don't got any money.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm a badass orthopedic surgeon, and your shoulder's fucked. So, you want to barter? You give me a bushel of potatoes, and I'll do some surgery, and then trade me like a yak or something, like old school Mongolian bartering or whatever the fuck they did. If you're Mongolian, please help me out. I have no idea how they bartered back in the day, but
yeah, I was listening to Howard Stern, and he had a show of some of these porn stars that got free dental work from their dentist, but I don't have any of those skills, so.
So, that was the barter. Was there like
for like $40,000 worth of like dental work? Like she was talking about how the dentist, did it pro bono.
Yeah, pro bono, right?
More like pro boner.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I guess that's like a win-win situation. You get your teeth fixed, and the El Dentiste gets a little on the side, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not because it's allegedly gets some on the side.
Well, the point is we don't have those type of skills.
No, I'm not a dentist. Though.
Most of us aren't that pretty.
I'd like to think I'm a dentist's worst nightmare from time to time, but I haven't hit anybody in the mouth really that bad. So now, fuck. I'm looking at working at Masters Worlds now, man. I think we might go to that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm planning on going to Pans again with Sensei Boyd.
Nice. Very
So
nice.
that'll be March. So that's probably the next time I'm competing.
Good. Yeah. Is Rico still not gonna do any competitions, or is he just happy doing his thing?
Oh well, he's in El Paso now, but yeah, he should compete. I tell him that. I tell him that to his face. So it's his choice not to.
Rico, you have to compete.
Yeah. I hope maybe he'll listen to this episode.
I hope so. It's like having the older brother listen. Like he likes
Yeah.
it. Like for me, he likes it. He appreciates what I do. Nah, no need to waste your time. Still a good episode, right?
Yeah. And me and Rico play FIFA on the Xbox One,
Yeah.
the soccer game, and I pay for beating him every time on there when we do jiu-jitsu. So like, you should hear him swearing, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna pay for this
It's like,
at the
I'm
next
getting my
at the next class,
get my ass.
and he will
beat.
fucking roll me, dude. Like, give me 100%. I'm like, oh man, I should just let him win.
You should. It might be a little less painful. I was gonna say it's kind of like there are some of the guys I teach in the club are in my same unit. So like they'll say something, I'll be like, dude, I'm just gonna choke you unconscious at class tonight. And of course, you're drinking that pot of coffee. Oh yeah, fuck. Been drinking a lot of coffee myself. I've been getting back into it, man. I don't know why I stopped drinking coffee that much.
Yeah, when you were staying with me, I was like, man, don't you want some of this delicious coffee?
No, I was just like, I don't know, man. It used to be a staple, but now it's slowly becoming a staple again, which is nice. Instead of, you know, drinking energy drinks or whatever because they're more convenient, I'll just throw some coffee in and go at it. You know, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's a lot less detrimental to your health, I suppose, than sucking down like a Monster or 7 every day.
Yeah, it'll get to your liver eventually.
Eventually. It'll be a really energized liver, so that'll be cool too. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Just like breaks down, I get more energy from my liver.
Yeah, it's like caked with whatever the fuck they put in Monster.
I don't even want to know, man. I really don't want to know. I just feel fucking terrible about myself. That was a really good choice, drinking straight Monster for years and years. Now you're all fucked up. My liver's fucking lime green.
I worked with this guy years ago that used to drink like 6 a day, and he ended up in the hospital, and they had to fucking do something to his liver, man. I forgot what, but I was like, dude, you're a little heavy on those Monsters, the sugared ones, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, he ended up at the hospital, man, getting the surgery.
Fuck that. I was
Kidneys
joking
or
about
something.
saving 7. I was like 2 on a bad day. 1's usually good. But as long as I get like the orange Fanta taste in one, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
That's the only
That is a good one. I miss walking over there to get that.
Yeah. Man, that's the shittiest part about moving and doing jiu-jitsu. And then make it even better for those of you who haven't been hanging out with us on the big jiu-jitsu show for that long. Shawn and I used to work in the same building. So we were just like, you want to go get a drink? Yeah. And we'll just mosey on down and get a sugar-free orange Monster and throw rocks at cars as they're passing by.
Yeah. And talk about World Wrestling Federation.
Oh, yes. I think, I got some free time coming up finally. I might pop in like some old Royal Rumbles or something like that. I know they had some good ones. I was actually thinking about the old NWO, like when they started taking over the WWF and WCW and stuff like that. Like, I forgot how much fun that was being like a kid. Like, dude, did you see that they showed up on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah. Dude,
wow.
I mean, I carried that all the way through college. So, I mean, I was about probably 23 or 24 by the time I stopped watching. Like, the kind of at the end of the Rock era and like Stone Cold era was when, because if I flip it on now, I don't know any of the guys on there other than Triple H and, a few other, I've seen that Sheamus guy and I know John Cena, but that was kind of I mean, we lived in the heyday, dude. Like that speech I posted with Macho Man and Hulk this week.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking every weekend, and we didn't realize they were on cocaine.
No.
We were like, these guys are awesome. I want to be just like Macho Man.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
and he knows how to treat his ladies. He's got that Elizabeth who he just treats like gold.
yeah. Except,
I'm like,
didn't he like beat her or some shit?
yeah, dude.
Fuck.
I'm like the Macho Man. So he gets the ladies. He has a,
He's such
you
a
know,
stand-up guy. Hulk Hogan's
yeah.
awesome. He's
Maybe
like,
that's why I was single until like I could get girls, and they were drunk in college, and they thought I was funny.
yeah. What did you feed him like the Macho Man lines or something?
Yeah, no. I was like,
Let me ask you a question, ladies. You want some of the cream that rises to the top? Like, yeah, you're funny. Like, God, you know what? Actually, if that ever worked, before I met Chelsea, I've been like, oh, I think we're gonna get married, just mainly because you even know who the Macho Man is.
yeah, you get me.
You get me. You get me. My pro wrestling. We're soulmates. Let me ask you a question. You and I are out on a date on the town. Dude comes over, hits me in the back of the head with a steel chair. You already come down a flight of stairs. What do you do? She's like double axe handle off the top. I'll be like, yep, we're getting married. We're fucking soulmates. Of course, be like, I don't know. Call the cops. I'm like, fucking disqualified. Get on my site.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite move growing up was the flying elbow off the couch. I mean, that was my signature. Like just like the Macho Man.
I remember, oh man, this is terrible. I feel so bad. I still feel bad about it. But I remember I could power bomb my brother. And I would power bomb him. Like my parents' bed was on the first floor with us. So I would pick him up, run over to my parents' bed and power bomb him on it because, they had the bed springs, they had like a nice mattress and everything. So the older we got, we still power bomb. Like I still power bombed him. I power bombed him on the bed once and fucking broke the frame. I was like, oh shit!
Oops.
I was in deep shit. And of course, pro wrestling got banned in the house after that. But
Yeah, my cousin did a funny one too, man. He for some reason he liked George the Animal Steel.
yeah,
So you can see me because you're on video, but he used to walk around doing this, like pounding his chest before we'd fake wrestle, and oh man, those are the days, man. Now, I don't even think kids like do that anymore. Like they're all like into finding fucking Pokemon Go on their phone. When we were growing up, like trying to figure out how to, emulate our favorite wrestlers and play backyard football and playing night games outside and crap like that. And these kids are just like have no idea any of that stuff.
dude, we got fucked up as kids. I guarantee it. I remember. Like, I blame my dad, too, because he was like, oh, the boy's 10. He could watch Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris movies, shit like that.
Yeah,
do you
Van
remember?
Damme.
Yeah, do you remember those old, like, metal cap guns? Like the revolvers, you put the roll in there?
Yeah.
We're outside playing in the neighborhood, and somebody had it, and I was like, watch this
Smoking candy cigarettes.
Yeah. I was like, watch this shit. I saw this on Delta Force or something. Like, I don't even remember, like, on these Chuck Norris movies. Kick the gun. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm good. Gun goes straight into this girl's face. And those old cab guns had some weight to them. I was like, oh shit. So she like grabbed her face and ran back home. I went inside, told my dad. He's like, fuck. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Come on, boy. So we got in the truck, drove down to Food Lion, and got like popsicles or ice cream and stuff. And he's like, no, you go on over there and you give her ice cream. He's like, you fucked up and you need to make up for it. You need to apologize. He's like, if you ever do that again, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm like, oh, my bad. But, you're a kid. Didn't know any better. I was trying to show off my sweet Chuck Norris moves. I accidentally hurt somebody.
You had them, too.
Oh, I did. That was it. That's all I had was I can kick a cap gun out of somebody's hand if they didn't move.
Yeah, like... And I remember being excited for like the next Steven Seagal movie to come out because I thought he was so badass, and it's amazing what I think about him now. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's such a joke now, but like when he had that cameo where he played some badass like mercenary or whatever, I was always like, Steven Seagal's in a new movie, can't wait to see it. He's gonna do some badass shit, and now I'm like just like laughing at him trying to help MMA fighters out.
Yeah, I mean, if he just like stuck to the movie stuff, that'd be cool. But I think he like kind of Gary Busey'd himself and kind of believed into his own hype. Except Gary Busey, I think, believes that he was every character he's ever played, just like a combination of them all. Steven Seagal, I think, was like, yeah, I really did all that shit in Under Siege. I'm actually a Navy SEAL. I'm going to help these MMA fighters learn how to fight. And it's blown up in his face because now was Anderson Silva and Andre Galvao making fun of him. If you ever saw that
was...
That was a good one. And yet we always go back to Steven Seagal somehow. So he's definitely our favorite punching bag on this podcast. And what a
fair statement.
Yeah, it is a fair statement. So before we head out, Shawn, you got anything you want to tell the viewers, the listeners?
I don't think so. Keep listening. I can attest that Tape Armor is a fantastic finger tape. I use it on 5 of my fingers consistently, so I'm glad your sponsorship with them and the podcast sponsorship with Tape Armor. And so if you have finger taping needs, fucking check them out.
Yeah, I'm still using them. Oh, it feels so. My fingers are very much more.
And it doesn't come off. Like I get really sweaty, and it doesn't come off. So.
Yeah, you remember how I used to have the problem? The people can't see it, but you know how I always had the problem of bending my ring finger all the way in for a while? Yeah, I have no problems anymore after using it.
Hey, the one I broke on your gi, I can get all the way down too. See that?
Hell yeah.
Oh, almost. Remember, I could just get it like there.
Yes.
And then there, and then there.
Now you straight up good. That's legit, man.
You remember that, dude?
I do. I remember you like just.
And it was like sideways.
Yeah, you're like, I think I broke my finger. Like, I don't know. And then you're like, oh shit, yeah, you broke your finger. God dang jiu-jitsu. We pay for this shit? What the hell
Then we finished that roll.
We did. Because you're the badass, not me. I'd be like, I need to see a doctor. I need to go to the hospital right now. But, yeah, Tape Armor, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this has been the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show, a member of the Pod Bros Podcast Network. Don't forget to go to podbros.com and listen to some other podcasts that you might enjoy. And also, don't forget to visit our sponsors, Tape Armor, as well as Trap and Roll Soap Company. Check out the Big Jiu-Jitsu webpage at bigjujitsu.com. And don't forget to review us on iTunes. That's how we keep going. I'm Rob, the Lord Humongous.
I'm Shawn, the Dick Humongous.
And we'll catch you guys next time.